Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the video that everyone has been waiting for. Today we are doing my fourth trial, the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard defamation trial that is going on right now. We are doing my fourth video on this, and today is probably going to be the most... There's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot to talk about. This one may be a little long, okay, but this is the one you guys have been wanting me to do. This is going to be the video talking all about the cross-examination of Amber Heard on the stand. The last trial video I did, I talked about Amber Heard's testimony from when she was getting her direct from her lawyer, Elaine Bredehoft, otherwise known on the internet as like Cat Lady. I don't know why people are calling her that, but yeah, whatever. In that video, I talked about how she behaved on the stand during her direct, all of the lies and the dancing around things and not really making any sense, like her testimony didn't make any sense. Well, today we're going to be talking about the cross-examination, and this was, ooh, honey, this was... This was the best. Like, those 2 days of cross-examination were some of the best shit I've ever seen. Like, it was phenomenal. So, that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about the Queen, Camille Vasquez, cross-examining Amber Heard. I look like this because, as always, we're going to be doing what we've done in every other video. I'm just going to be putting on my makeup and talking to you guys about the cross-examination. So, sit down, grab a cozy blanket, grab a snack, get comfortable because we are going to get started right now. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. I have a very, very thick stack of notes and little points that I want to make because there was just so much information to absorb and unpack and so many lies and so many inconsistencies that I just was like, I could not stop taking notes while I was watching. It was literally insane. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Let's make me look a little bit better and let's talk about this cross-examination. I am going to have my mirror like right here so I can see what I'm doing. I'm sorry if that's like annoying. In my last video, I talked about how court was going to be on break for a week because the judge had like a prior thing going on that she had to do. Well, trial resumed on Monday, May 16th at 9 a.m. Because of time constraints, they had to move court up an hour. So instead of it being from 10 to 5, court is now from 9 a.m. to 5:30 some days. So to kick things off on Monday, May 16th, Amber hopped back up on the stand to finish her direct with Elaine Bredehoft. This has like been the longest direct testimony I have ever seen. Like, I think her direct was like 3 days long, and it's like, oh my god, like get on with it, you know what I mean? Just like incredibly dragged out, incredibly boring, and just way too long. To be perfectly honest, before the cross-examination, I think every time that Amber was up on the stand, giving her direct or whatever, I think every time I tried to watch it, I fell asleep each time. Like, if that doesn't tell you how boring and just stupid it is, then fuck. Like, it was ridiculous. So she gets back up on the stand to finish off what little bit of her direct that she has left. Well, I thought it was going to be a little bit, but it was not. And one thing that caught my eye is when she did get back up on the stand, it wasn't like they picked up where they left off. Instead, they started fixing lies from the week prior. So it seems like Elaine, Amber, and the rest of everybody else has been doing some stalking on social media because the people of Twitter, we are going ham sandwich, okay? We are calling Amber out on all of her lies, such as the Milani makeup palette, her playing guitar, things like that. Like, we have just been catching her in lie after lie after lie. And during that week break, I think Amber and her team kind of realized that, oh shit, like people are calling you out on your lies, we better fix this. And that is exactly what they did the day that they went back to court, is instead of picking up their direct testimony where they left off from the week before, they started fixing all of her lies. So basically, what I took that as is it just made her look like such a damn fool. It made her look so unreliable and so incredible because, like, okay, so last week you said all of this stuff, but now this week that's not true. Everything's totally different now. Like, what? What is the jury supposed to think now? Like, for her to be on the stand one week saying like all of these things and then under oath, and then the next week after the break she's completely changing all of that stuff under oath So basically she just kind of told everybody, like, hey, you know, just a heads up, I did lie, but like I'm fixing it all right now. Like, what is the jury supposed to think? And also what I want to know is, why are Amber and her team looking on social media while they're on this break? I thought it was supposed to be a break, and I also didn't think that they were allowed to be looking at social media. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe they have like exceptions, but I always thought that, you know, you're still a witness, you're still under oath. Why are you online looking at all this stuff? You're not supposed to be reading or looking at anything that has to do with the case, but yet very clearly you were looking online during all of this. That's just another thing that kind of makes her look a little bit untrustworthy, because if you knew that you were telling the truth, you wouldn't care what social media has to say, but yet you're on there and you're like, oh my God, like, people are catching me in my lies. I need to write all this down so I can fix all of these things. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure Johnny didn't give two shits what people were saying online, to be perfectly honest, because he knows he told the truth. Whereas Amber is online scrolling Twitter and Facebook and crying herself a river because nobody fucking likes her. And another thing I would like to know is, since she lied so much last week and then this week she's fixing everything, trying to fix everything and make it right, does that mean we can completely strike everything she said the week before? You know what I mean? Like, if she lied last week and she's fixing all of her lies this week, can we just strike her entire testimony from before? It was just a very bizarre way to pick things back up for this trial. It was just very strange. It kind of caught me off guard. Like, you know, I listened to it and I was like, ugh, okay, here we go. And then she started fixing all these things and I was like, bitch, what? And you can also tell that Amber is really upset with how social media is like talking about her and portraying her, because she kept bringing up and she kept mentioning how she hates how abused she's being online, and she's like, look us up online and you'll see who's really being abused. Like, she's just not having a good time with any of this. Like, people are finally realizing what a toxic ass person she truly is, and people are just like, like, she's so angry with how things are going on social media. She's so upset. Like, she hired this whole new PR team, which her new PR person has quite a history of his own, and even that isn't helping her. Like, you just cannot give this woman good press because she's not a good person. She is a lying, abusive SOB. After her entire direct testimony was done, which was about 3:30 in the afternoon, like, do you see what I mean? Like, just completely drawn out, completely just, it was the longest, most boring direct testimony I've ever heard in my life. And Amber's team honestly wasted a lot of time by having her up there for so long, because as it stands right now, as I'm filming this video, Amber's team only has 8 hours left that they can use for witnesses and questioning. So honestly, I think they kind of, you know, hurt themselves a little bit by having Amber up there for so long, because they have no more time left, whereas Johnny Depp's side has about 18 hours left where they can use, which is definitely an advantage. After her direct was done, it was officially time for the cross-examination, and Camille Vasquez, who is an associate at Johnny Depp's law firm, so she is an attorney for Johnny Depp, it was her who was going to be doing the cross-examination. And to be perfectly honest with you, I was a tad bit nervous to have her do the cross-examination, just because I was not very happy with the cross-examination that they did on the psychologist that Amber hired. So I was really nervous, and I really didn't want them to blow this cross-examination, because this was going to be the most important of all of them. So I was like, okay, like, fingers crossed, like, please don't fuck this up. Please don't fuck this up. This is so incredibly important for Johnny. But then this queen, Camille Vasquez, she came in guns blazing. Like, she was not fucking around. Like, she came to play, sweetheart. She didn't come with no BB gun. She didn't come with no paint gun. She came with a full AK-47 to shoot this bitch down. Oh my God. Wow. Right away, I was just like, bitch, what? Oh my God. She ain't fucking around today. Now, I was kind of like, you know, I was listening, obviously, like, I was very intently listening because I was very anxious to see how this was going to go. So, you know, I had my headphones in and I was listening, and all of a sudden, Camille jumps right up there, and the first thing she says is, Mr. Depp hasn't looked at you once this entire trial, has he? And I was like, Wait, I'm sorry, did I hear that right? I literally rewound that part just so I could hear it again. And I was like, oh my God, she's ready. She is so fucking ready, and she is just, right off the bat, she puts this bitch in her place. And just like, I don't know if this was like a tactic of hers or if this is just Camille's way of questioning, but the way that she did this and the contempt and the anger in her voice was so like intense. You know what I mean? Like, she wasn't like, so Mr. Depp hasn't looked at you. Do you know why? Like, it wasn't like that. She was like, Mr. Depp hasn't looked at you once, has he, bitch? Like, you know what I mean? Just very, very intense, very strong in her tone of voice. And I actually really liked that. I found it to be very intimidating. I found it to be very forward without being rude. Because number one, not only was she angry for her client and really wanting to help her client, but, you know, she was probably also angry because she's probably so sick of this bitch lying on the stand and telling all of these lies and committing perjury. Like, you could just tell in her voice that she has just been waiting for this day to take her down. And then Camille soon after begins to play a few recordings that we have heard a few times throughout this trial of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard having their arguments, where Amber Heard admits on multiple occasions of hurting and hitting Johnny Depp. And, you know, Amber would say things like, oh yeah, like, you know, he was hitting me and he broke my nose, blah, blah, blah. She loves broken noses, Amber, because I swear to God, it's like every other time Johnny hit her, she broke her nose, you know what I mean? And Camille was asking her why she didn't have pictures or proof of such an injury because, you know, if you break your nose, like, I'm pretty sure you're gonna be like, oh shit, like, let me take a picture of this, especially in today's times where everyone and their mother has, like, some sort of cell phone on them or a camera on them. And especially if you're, you know, being abused by somebody, like, you're going to take a picture of an injury like that. Like, there's no doubt. You for sure are. And that is when Amber claims that she does, in fact, have a picture of her broken nose. And Camille is basically like, no, you don't. Like, you have not showed that picture to the jury, have you? And Amber claims that she has a picture of it. However, it could not be used in evidence. Now, the reason for that, metadata, maybe it was edited. It wasn't admissible in court because it looked like it had been tampered with or fabricated. And another thing I found interesting is because Camille kept saying that the picture doesn't exist. Now, one thing I do know about trials is before a trial happens, and this is very different from what you see in movies. So before a trial happens, each side, the plaintiff and the defendant, have to present and show all evidence before a trial begins. There cannot be any surprises, basically, because you know how in movies, when there's like a trial in a movie and someone will whip out this person or this piece of paper and be like, this evidence, and the other side is completely shocked? Yeah, you can't do that in a trial. Each side has to be aware and they have to see all of the evidence that is going to be presented in court. And Johnny Depp's team never saw such picture. They never saw this picture of Amber's alleged broken nose, which can only mean that the picture doesn't exist. Or if it does exist, it wasn't allowed to come anywhere near the courtroom because it wasn't factual. It wasn't, they couldn't prove it was a real photo of a broken nose, you know what I mean? And this is when Amber threw her entire attorney, her entire team, under the bus. So Camille goes, you have not shown that picture, the broken nose picture, you have not shown that picture to the jury. And Amber goes, I would very much like to, but it's not my job. And then kind of glances over at her team for a little bit, and I was like, oh. Like, just absolute craziness. Basically calling out her team, mind you, who she has not paid all of her legal fees to yet, and she probably fucking pledged them. She basically told them like what a god-awful job they're doing, pretty much. And it was also reported that someone in the courtroom, in like the gallery section, someone heard Amber and Elaine Bredehoft arguing because Amber was very upset that they couldn't present that photo in court, I guess. You know, obviously Amber's team was very hurt and upset because she literally threw them under the bus. Like, you know, Amber's team is literally working with nothing, but they're still trying so desperately and so hard for her. And she just goes, it's not my job. Like, my people aren't doing their job, basically. And it was heard by someone in the courtroom that Amber and Elaine were outside arguing and screaming at each other. And Elaine looks at Amber and goes, if you don't fucking like it, you can defend yourself. Oh my God. I have a question. Is it possible... Can Amber's team just, like, walk out at any minute? Like, if they're just like, you know what, like, there is no saving this bitch. Like, I'm out of here. Peace out. Goodbye. Like, good luck. Defend yourself. Can they do that? I'd walk out on Amber. Fuck that bitch. She fucking... Ew. So then Camille starts showing Amber a bunch of paparazzi pictures. So paparazzi pictures when you're a celebrity and those people follow you around with the camera. Yeah, those pictures. So Camille starts showing all of these paparazzi pictures to Amber, where Amber claims that she had injuries on her that night, and in the paparazzi photos you can't see any of them. There were no injuries to her face, there were no injuries to her back, there was no injuries to her eyes, her temples, her head, nothing. No black eyes, her nose was perfect and cute and tiny and snatched. And, you know, Amber would constantly say like, oh, like he whacked me in the face, he punched me in the face, he headbutted me, he, you know, hit me across the face over and over again multiple times. And then a couple hours later, she would be at an event, like a comedy event with Johnny Depp, and she, you know, she looked perfectly fine. Like, her nose was, she has a really cute nose, okay? You know, her nose was so cute and tiny, and Camille was like, this doesn't look like the face of someone who was whacked in the face, quote unquote, by someone with a bunch of rings. And Amber goes, I had makeup on. Bitch, makeup doesn't cover swelling, Amber. She claims, Amber Heard claims, that whenever she would have an incident with Johnny Depp like that, she would use ice for the swelling. So apparently, and yes, ice does help with swelling. However, in Amber's world, on Amber's face, apparently, if she gets whacked in the face, not like, whacked in the face multiple times by someone who is wearing a bunch of rings. In Amber's world, she only has to ice for a couple hours and everything is perfectly fine and back to normal. Bitch, if you've ever been whacked in the face, you're going to be sore and swollen for a couple days at least, even if you do ice it, okay? Ice is not the magical cure-all, and it does not bring swelling down instantly, okay? It does not work that way. And also, if you were really that injured and you were really that sore, makeup wouldn't cover that. And another thing is, if you were whacked in the face to the point where you had a broken nose, there's no way you would be able to put makeup on without hurting like hell, okay? So for her to be like, you know, I had a broken nose, but I was able to put a full beat on my face. Like, could you imagine trying to put makeup on a face where you have a broken nose and you were whacked in the face multiple times? I can't fucking imagine. That would hurt so bad. Like, you know, she keeps saying, like, I had makeup on. I had makeup on. Like, that's why I had makeup on. It's like, Amber, the injuries that you are describing that happened to you, makeup wouldn't cover any of that. Like, none of it. That is not how makeup and ice work. Like, that's not how injuries on the human body work. Also, just a side note, can we just talk about makeup for one teensy second here? This is kind of like a little side note that I really wanted to talk about. So, in Amber's opening statement, her attorneys held up the Milani color correcting palette thingy that has been blowing up since Milani came out with their TikTok video, basically saying like, hey, like, this bitch is straight up lying. Amber did not carry this in her purse because this product, in fact, did not exist until 2017 when her and Johnny were no longer together. Okay, that makeup palette. Everyone had been starting to call out Amber on that lie. They said, you know, everyone on Twitter and everyone everywhere was just like, Amber, like, no, this palette did not exist. Therefore, this is not the exact palette that you claim to have used. They did talk about the Milani makeup palette a little bit. And this is when she was still on her direct with Elaine. And Elaine goes, can you please describe to us how you would use this palette? And the first thing Amber does is she gets it and she holds it up, and the first thing she says is, oh, and like, this is not the exact palette that I used, by the way. Like, so that's another lie that she quickly tries to fix. And she goes, so basically this is like a bruise kit. I mean, a makeup color correcting palette. Like, she fucked up there. She called it her bruise kit. whoopsie. And you know, she was looking at it like she had no idea what she was looking at. So she claimed to have carried something like that in her purse for so long, yet she looked at it like she was holding onto a three-headed monkey. Like she was like, and she literally called it her bruise kit. And you can literally see her like catch herself, like she's like, it's a bruise kit. I mean, it is your bruise kit, Amber. It is your bruise kit. And it's very clear and very obvious that Amber has never had to cover up a bruise in her life because she had no idea how to use a color correcting palette. Like, this girl has no sense on how color theory works. Like, a simple Google search can help you distinguish what colors help counteract other colors. And this bitch, she was just completely fucking clueless. I think, now, don't, like, quote me exactly on this because I didn't write down exactly what she said, but she said something ridiculous along the lines of, I would use the reddish shades to counteract kind of like the purple days. No, Amber. You use yellow to counteract purple. Like, if I have big dark bags under my eyes, I'm going to use a yellow toned concealer to cancel out that purple. And she also claimed, and this was the biggest what the F moment. Like, beauty YouTube was exploding over this because she claimed that her morning routine to cover up all of these injuries from getting whacked in the face by Johnny Depp over and over and over again, she claimed that she would use the palette over top of foundation. So she would put on her foundation like this, then concealer, and then she would use the color correcting colors. It's like, Amber, if you did it in that order, foundation, concealer, color correcting, you would make a bruise. You would make colors appear on your face instead of hiding them. It's supposed to be the color correcting to cover up whatever you're trying to cover, which we all know is nothing, then foundation, then concealer, okay? Not the other way around. So that right there told me that she has no idea how to use one of those palettes, and she has never used one of those palettes. Now, what I can guarantee is I can guarantee with that routine that she described, foundation, concealer, color correcting, that tells me that she knows how to make bruises, but it also tells me that she doesn't know how to cover up bruises because she's never had one. So that was just my little sidebar on the makeup palette because I thought that was fucking hilarious. Like, I was like, oh my god, this bitch is fucking, is she serious right now? Like, she did not just describe her whole routine and make it, like, oh my god. And then Camille also brought up the Australia incident again. This incident gets brought up quite a bit because those are pretty bold claims to make against somebody, and when you don't have sufficient evidence or proof, that is, that's pretty bad. Camille did bring up the Australia incident a little bit, talking about how she was sexually assaulted with a liquor bottle, talking about how her arms and feet were completely sliced up with glass, how she was punched in the face over and over. She had really bad vaginal bleeding after the supposed alleged SA, which, come on, like, it didn't fucking happen. And Camille brought up what we all are wondering. Why didn't she seek medical attention after an assault like that? And why were there no pictures? And like I said in my last couple of videos, after an assault like that, a doctor's appointment would be inevitable, meaning unavoidable, meaning it has to happen. There's no whether, there's no maybe or no, it has to happen. With an assault and with injuries like that, to the point where your feet are sliced up and you were just SA'd in a way that is so absolutely disgusting and painful, a doctor's appointment would be inevitable. Inevitable. You know, Dr. Kipper and Nurse Debbie were there because this was the same night, March 8th, 2015, this was the same night that Johnny's finger was cut off, allegedly, by Amber Heard. So obviously Johnny's doctors and nurses were going to be there so they could assess the situation. And these are doctors and nurses, okay? These are people who are trained. Literally, they know what to look for in an injury. And not one of them that night, while they were there and saw Amber in person, not one of them reported seeing any sort of injury or distress on Amber Heard. I mean, they could see she was distressed by, like, crying, not, like, from injuries. So you're telling me that a doctor and a nurse went to the house where you just went through this awful assault, this awful beating, this awful SA, and you're telling me they didn't see anything on you. Just Johnny Depp. They saw nothing on you, just Johnny. Right? That doesn't make any sense. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. Now, one thing that Johnny Depp did say when he was on the stand is that it is impossible to make Amber happy. Like, she just does not want to be happy. And he also said that Amber always has to be right. Amber can never be wrong. She always has to get the last word in. Like, Amber is the be-all, end-all of correctness. Always has to have her way, and she's always right. Everyone else is wrong, and she's the only one that can be right. That is one thing that Johnny Depp said about Amber, and that is, like, the truest thing I have ever heard, because it's honestly true. Like, Amber is discounting literally everybody, and everybody else is lying except for Amber. That's what I'm catching on to. She discounted the doctor's notes. She discounted the nurse's notes. She discounted the medical testimony from Dr. Shannon Curry. She discounted the police testimony. Because everyone, I mean, except Dr. Curry, obviously, she was there as an expert witness, whatever. Everyone who testified that Amber has discounted all claimed that they saw absolutely no injuries whatsoever on Amber Heard. The doctors, the nurses, the police officers, they saw no injuries. And according to Amber, they're all lying. Oh, okay, Amber, let me get this straight. So what you're saying is all of these doctors, nurses, everyone, they all committed federal crimes by lying on their reports. Is that what you're saying? That all of these people committed a federal crime? Like, they all got together on a Friday night to play poker and they all just discussed how they were going to lie on their reports? Is that what happened, Amber? Because, I don't think they would do that. No, ma'am. I do not think they would do that. No sirree, Bob. But, you know, according to Amber, they're all fucking lying. She's the only one telling the truth. In this whole entire trial, she's the only one telling the fucking truth. Like, I just... And while Amber was going through her cross-examination, I was, like, watching her pretty closely because I just wanted to see if she was gonna, you know, lose her temper. I just wanted to see, like, what her mannerisms were going to be and how they were going to differ from her direct testimony versus the cross-examination. And the one thing I noticed is that Amber was drinking quite a bit. Like, she always has this, like, pink drink in a water bottle up on stand with her. I don't know if it's like one of those pink lemonade crystal light things that you put in water. I used to love those things. I used to drink those all the time in cheer practice. But that is one thing I did notice, is she was drinking quite a bit. And what I mean by that, and why I think that is kind of important, is during her direct testimony, like, she would drink, you know, she would drink out of her water bottle, but she wasn't drinking as excessively as when she was being cross-examined. So that told me that Amber was very nervous, very uncomfortable, and it's kind of like a nervous tic. Like, I'm kind of the same way, is if I'm in a situation, especially like a social situation, and I feel kind of uncomfortable, if I have like a bottle of water or I'm at like a bar or something, I will just start drinking more and more and more because it kind of helps with that social anxiety. It gives me something to do so I don't look awkward, you know what I mean? So I don't know if she was doing that because she felt weird. I don't know if she was doing that because she, you know, wanted to, you know, dart her eyes away or give her something to do. I don't know, but I did notice that she was drinking quite a bit compared to her direct testimony. Did anybody else catch that? And by the time the first round of cross-examination was over, she had almost drank the entire bottle of that pink drink that she drinks. Whereas in her direct testimony, she usually would have like more than half of her drink left. But by the time like first cross-examination was over, you know, she basically drank the entire thing, which I thought was interesting and just something that I noticed, and I thought I would like bring it up here because I don't know, that was kind of odd to me. And Camille also brought up how it was very strange how Amber took so many pictures of Johnny Depp sleeping. Like, so many. I think they showed like 4 or 5 different pictures of Johnny sleeping, but Amber claimed it was when he was a raging drunk and druggy and that was him passed out. Like, no, bitch. Those are pictures of him sleeping. You cannot prove someone was drunk or high based off of a picture. Camille brought that up. She's like, you sure like to take a lot of pictures while Mr. Depp is sleeping, don't you? And you know, Amber would go on one of her tirades like, oh, well, he was drunk and he was wasted on coke and meh. So she brought up, you know, how many times she took pictures of Johnny Depp sleeping, and why she didn't have as many pictures of her quote-unquote injuries. And can I just say, and I mean this in the most respectful way possible, but Amber Heard's pictures of her injuries, I am sorry, but they are so bland. As real domestic violence victims, not all of them, but most of them will take pictures of their abuse. And can I just say, the difference in pictures is staggering. Because a real domestic violence victim, if you look at their pictures, their injuries are out of this world. Like, they are just so disturbing to look at. You know, blood vessels in the eye that are ruptured, big swollen purple eyes, broken noses, lips that are completely busted open, you know, broken ribs. Like, real domestic violence victims, their pictures compared to Amber Heard's injuries, it doesn't match up, okay? Amber's injuries and her pictures of her injuries do not match up what the injuries she claimed happened to her. Like, she would say that I was pushed down the stairs and I was whacked across the face and I was this and I was that. And then she would pull up a picture of her with a red splotch on her cheek. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. You cannot tell me that, like, I don't understand. Like, is she made of pure steel? Because I'm just so confused. Then things got real interesting, and this is when we were almost done with day one of cross-examination, and the end of day one was amazing because things got real interesting once Camille got into the topic of the $7 million that Amber supposedly donated to the ACLU and the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. Okay, I'm sure a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. It has been going all over TikTok and YouTube because that part of cross-examination was so intense. It was so crazy. Like, while I was watching it live, I literally was like, oh shit. So Camille Vasquez, this amazing, wonderful queen, called Amber out on one of her biggest lies because Amber has made several public statements, and she has also said under oath in a court of law that she has donated her $7 million divorce settlement split between two charities, $3.5 million to the ACLU and $3.5 million to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, okay? She made several public statements, and she also said under oath that she donated all of that money, which in fact, she did not. And Camille Vasquez was gonna call her out on it. And this is when we get into like a full 5-minute back and forth between Amber and Camille, pretty much like kind of arguing on the stand, because Camille would say, you did not donate the full amount to those two charities, did you? And Amber would reply, yes, I pledged the entirety, yes. And then Camille would say, that's not what I asked you. I asked if you donated. Donated, not pledged, donated the entire divorce settlement to the charities. And Amber would reply again, I pledged the entirety, yes. It's like, Amber, no, that's not how any of this works. Like, pledged and donate are two totally different things, okay? Pledged is say, hey, just so you know, I'm going to donate this to you, and then actually donating is actually doing it, okay? That would be like me calling up my landlord and being like, hey, I just want to let you know that I'm going to pledge the next years of rent to you, but I'm actually not going to do it. I'm just going to pledge it. Like, no, that's not how that works, Amber. And she kept saying, like, I pledged it, yes. And Camille would be like, no, I asked you if you donated it. Paid with your own money, given it to them. And she didn't answer the fucking question. Like, Amber refused to answer the question, and everyone in the courtroom, no one could believe what the hell we were watching right now. It was insane to watch, and it was like a full back and forth, and Camille was just killing it. Like, she was just absolutely killing it, putting this bitch in her place. This went on for several minutes. Camille would be like, you did not donate the $7 million to charity. And Amber would be like, I pledged it, yes. And Camille would be like, no, donated. Not pledged, donated. The entire $7 million divorce settlement to charity. And Amber would be like, I want to make it clear that I pledged it. And Camille would be like, no, donated. Not pledged. Camille was a freight train during this whole thing. She was absolutely killing it. And there are so many reports of people in the courtroom just audibly like, oh, like, when this was going on, because this was a huge lie to catch Amber in. And, you know, all of us knew that she was lying about this, but the jury didn't know, okay? Now the jury knows that she flat out lied about donating her divorce settlement to charity, which she did not. Still to this day, she has not. And Camille also brought up how it's kind of weird how Elon Musk, which is one of Amber's ex-boyfriends, aka supposed baby daddy, she also brought up how Elon Musk made payments in honor of Amber. Like, he gave his own money to charity and put it in Amber's name. Why on earth would he have to do that? That seems a little fishy. That seems a little suspicious to me. Why on earth would he have to do that if Amber had all of this money ready to go and ready to be donated? Why? Why did he have to give his own money? I don't understand. And Amber Heard claimed that she, in fact, could not obligate her charity donations because Johnny Depp sued her, okay? That's her excuse. Keep that in mind. That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't matter if Johnny Depp sued you. Do you want to know why? Because Amber was awarded the entire full $7 million divorce settlement. She was awarded that in February of 2018. She came out with the op-ed that this whole trial is based off of. She came out with the op-ed in December of 2018, and Johnny Depp officially sued Amber Heard in March of 2019. Okay? $7 million in February of 2018. Op-ed December of 2018. Suing March of 2019. Meaning, Amber Heard had 13 months. 13 full months that she had the full $7 million that she could have donated. But she did not. She had 13 months to do it, and she didn't do it. Not one fucking payment. I mean, she did make, like, 1 or 2 payments, but she didn't do, like, full payments like she pledged. She had more than enough time to donate the money. She had more than enough time to follow through with her pledge. She had more than enough time to follow through with her obligation. But instead, she didn't. You know, she just made her stupid little pledge and just didn't do it. Nope. Sure didn't. So that's how they ended day 1 of cross-examination, and I thought, like, oh my god, what a day. What a amazing, wonderful first day of cross-examination that was. To leave it at that, to leave it like that on the first day, I was like, fuck yeah, Camille. Way to go, baby. Way to go, Camille. And then we move into day 2 of cross-examination. And once again, for day 2, Camille Vasquez absolutely killed it. She was phenomenal. And she continued to call out more of Amber's lies and more of her inconsistencies in day 2. Camille would bring up pictures of Amber's injuries where she would have a red splotch right here. And then in another photo, supposedly taken on the same night, she would have something over here. And it wasn't matching up. So Camille brought those pictures up and she would say, you said these were supposedly taken on the same night. And the injuries were completely different. You know, there was one photo where it was taken from one angle and then there was another picture that was the exact same picture, just a little bit edited. And Camille called her out on that. She's like, this picture is just edited, isn't it, Miss Heard? Or she would bring up things like jewelry, like, you know, she would, you know, show a picture with like a red splotch on her face, and then she would pull up another picture and it would be supposedly taken on the same night, but Amber decided to change her earrings and put on a few more necklaces. Like, it doesn't make sense, okay? If you're getting abused, you're not going to be like, oh wait, I need to change my conch really quick, or I need to put on this necklace instead. Like, no, that's not how that works. So Camille would call her out on that, how none of that makes any sense. She also brought up the Twitter post because Amber claimed that she just retweeted the article and she didn't read the title and she didn't adopt the op-ed that she wrote. But in fact, when Camille brought up the Twitter post, it was literally a tweet that Amber made herself. So she went to her Twitter account, hit the tweet button, wrote out her little the op-ed that I wrote, and then put a link. So she made that tweet, she adopted the article, and she put it out there, which Amber claimed that she did not. Amber claimed it was just a retweet, when in fact it was not a retweet. She did not retweet the article. She literally linked it, okay? Camille called her out on that as well. And also, if you guys remember from my last couple of videos that Amber's team tried to do a motion to strike the entire trial, and the judge, there was 3 arguments, the judge denied 2 of them, and then she was waiting on the 3rd one. That Twitter post was the 3rd argument that she was waiting to make a decision on. So all 3 arguments that Amber's team wanted to move to strike were denied, which is awesome, which is a huge win for Johnny Depp. Just a little side note there. Camille would play more recordings between Amber and Johnny where Amber would admit to hitting him, or the part where Amber, you know, smashed a door in his face and then clocked him across the jaw. You know, Camille would play those and be like, Johnny Depp is your victim. You're the abuser. And Amber couldn't answer the question. She just continued to dance around the subject. She continued to make up different stories. She would say, no, that's not true. Like, this night it was all self-defense. I was trying to get away from him. I was trying to barricade the door. And it's like, no, Amber. And then Amber said something that literally just, I almost passed the fuck out. Amber literally said, I can't hurt Johnny Depp, because Camille would ask her, you were hurting Johnny Depp, you punched Johnny Depp. And Amber would be like, I can't hurt him, it's impossible to hurt him. Bitch, we've seen the pictures. You are very capable of committing abuse on somebody, and you are very capable of committing that abuse on Johnny Depp, because we have seen mountains of that evidence. You are an abuser, Amber Heard. And she also brought up even more inconsistencies with the Australia incident. Amber claimed that Johnny Depp severed his finger by a wall-mounted phone that he ripped off the wall and smashed. And by smashing that phone, it cut off his finger. Okay, that's what Amber said. Mind you, Amber has changed her story on the finger incident at least 5 different times, okay? There is a YouTuber on here, I'm sure you all know her. Her name is Swoop here on YouTube. She did an entire video discussing the 5 different stories that Amber told about the finger. And there is also another story that came out from Amber's acting coach, Miss Sexton. She said that she saw Johnny break a bottle and cut his own finger off, okay? That's another story. So Amber just cannot keep her story straight. She can't remember what she told one person and what she told another person. She can't keep it straight, and she keeps changing her story. Amber claims there was a wall-mounted phone that he cut his finger off with. There was no wall-mounted phone in that house. There is no pictures. There is no evidence. There is no pictures of the pieces on the floor from the broken phone. And then, okay, we're going to get into the SA allegation really quick, so just skip ahead a little bit if you do not want to hear it. But Amber claimed that after he smashed the phone up against the wall next to Amber's head and he cut his finger off, she then claimed that Johnny took her by the throat, laid her backwards on the bar, ripped her clothes or her robe or whatever she was wearing off. Mind you, he cut his finger off, okay? So he's holding her backwards, naked, by the throat on the bar, and then reached for this one in particular liquor bottle, the Maker's Mark whiskey bottle, and assaulted her with it. It doesn't make sense. Did you not try to fight back? Did you just lay there like a dead fish and let this happen? Because if someone lost the tip of their finger, all right, they're not going to have very good motor, and they're going to get blood all over everything, including yourself and the other person that you're touching. So you're telling me you just laid there while he's holding you by the throat, and then he's reaching around looking for this one in particular liquor bottle, and you just laid there and let it happen. Is that right? Does that make any sense? I can tell you right now, if you're being assaulted, you're going to fight back in some way. I mean, not everyone does. A lot of people just kind of disassociate and zone out and wait for it to be over. But you're telling me that you let him hold you on the bar like that, naked, holding you by the throat, and you just laid there and didn't do anything. It's like nothing Amber says about this incident can be taken as fact and truth, because she keeps changing her story. She can't keep anything straight. You look at her UK deposition video or her divorce testimony video, and she tells one story. You look at her on the stand in this trial, and it's another story. You look at all of her friends' testimony, it's another 2-3 different stories. It's like the jury, there's no way that the jury can see this and be like, wow, like she's telling the truth. Like, we can really trust this woman. It's like, no, nothing Amber says makes sense, and nothing she says is the goddamn truth. And also, the night of this Australia incident, you know, Amber told the jury in the court when she was giving her direct testimony all of these awful injuries: sliced up feet, sliced up arms, choked, raped, punched, you know, all of these just awful, god-awful things. However, throughout that whole incident, throughout that whole night, she only took pictures of the writing on the mirrors. She never once, not once, took a picture of herself from that night. Just the pictures of the mirrors. Groundbreaking. Because Amber talked about how after that incident she took a bunch, well, not a bunch, like 2 sleeping pills and went to bed and barricaded herself in her room, as she says. I can tell you right now that if I went up to my room after an incident like that, my ass would be taking pictures, video of everything that had happened to me, because that's what you do. You document. You're not just gonna not take pictures of certain irrelevant things and not the relevant things. So the fact that she only took pictures of the mirrors and the writing on the mirrors and didn't take pictures of herself is because there was nothing on herself to take pictures of. And Amber had a hard time remembering the sequence of events. She kept, Camille was like, and then this happened, is that right? And Amber would be like, oh, I don't remember. Even though she gave testimony the week prior to the exact sequence. So Amber had a hard time remembering the sequence. And Queen Camille, she comes in and she goes, well, let's help you remember. And literally gets out this fucking binder that's like this, that has all of her testimony in it. And Camille goes, you said this happened and then this happened, but now you're saying it's the other way around? And Amber would just be like, doing her like stupid stutter that she does all the time that literally makes me want to punch her in the face. And Camille would say, and you said that you didn't get medical attention for these injuries that happened in Australia. These very serious injuries, and you decided not to get medical attention. And Amber said, I didn't need it because they weren't that serious. You just described this horror story to the jury in the entire courtroom, talking about how you were dragged naked through glass, your feet were sliced up, your arms were sliced up, you were sexually assaulted, you were choked, you were punched, you were hit. Now all of a sudden those injuries aren't serious? I could not believe she said that. I don't know if anyone else caught that, but she literally would describe these awful injuries and then she would say that they weren't that serious, that she didn't need medical attention. It wasn't necessary. I can't. And then we get into the James Franco incident. If you guys remember Amber Heard and James Franco having a little bit of a affair, supposedly, allegedly. Well, there is proof from the penthouse elevator cameras of Amber Heard bringing James Franco up to the penthouses, and Camille brought this up. And she asked Amber about it, and she goes, let's talk about James Franco a little bit. Why was he at your penthouse on May 22nd, 2016 at almost 11 o'clock p.m.? And Amber goes, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't remember. And Camille goes, well, let's help you remember. Can we please pull up plaintiff's exhibit? And I was like, oh, she got the video proof right now. Now, apparently, on March 21st, 2016, Amber was allegedly assaulted by Johnny Depp. He was hitting her, punching her, over and over in the face with big rings. And Amber was, had a broken nose and I don't know, a concussion, whatever the fuck. And the night after, May 22nd, 2016, Johnny Depp was out of town for work. He was not in the vicinity of the penthouses. He was not around Amber. So the night after Amber is assaulted, allegedly, by Johnny Depp, she decides to have James Franco over at almost 11 o'clock p.m. over to the penthouses. And not only that, but she also had the locks changed on the penthouse. Okay, I find to be very fucked up for a couple reasons. One, those were Johnny's penthouses. What are you doing changing the locks on something that is not yours? Two, you and everyone else in your fucking life lived there rent-free. Why are you changing the locks? And also, you're having the locks changed on the exact same night that you're having James Franco over while your husband is out of town working. And there is video evidence of Amber and James Franco in the penthouse elevator, and it shows them canoodling and cuddling and James Franco laying his head on her shoulder. Like, it's literally proof that Amber was being unfaithful to her husband and they didn't get into the reason as to why he was there. Camille didn't ask her why he was there, because I feel like that would just be irrelevant in the courtroom. But we're all adults here, okay? And I think we all know why she had him over. I mean, that's the only reason I would have a man over that late at night, is purely for a booty call or drugs or something. So I think we all know why she had James Franco over. And it also doesn't make sense, is if you were assaulted, if you were beat up by a man, you're telling me that you were so traumatized that your way of coping is to have another man come over? I don't understand. Just absolutely despicable this woman is. Like, Amber is relentless. And what's even more fucked up is in Amber's head, she literally thinks she's telling the truth. It's like she's literally starting to believe and visually see her own lies come to life when everyone else around her knows it's bullshit, but Amber is just convinced that it's the truth. And that's scary. And not only did she have James Franco over to the penthouses, but she also had Elon Musk over at the penthouses. Like, this bitch was spreading her coochie all over penthouses 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Am I right? Just completely makes her look totally untrustworthy, unreliable as a witness. Like, she is an abusing, cheating, lying scumbag of a person. And Camille, throughout this entire cross-examination, Camille was just calling her out on so many acts of perjury. Perjury is when you are lying under oath in a court of law, and that is punishable by jail time if you are caught. Now, Amber Heard being accused of and investigated of perjury in 3 different continents and countries, okay? The UK for her testimony there, Australia for the dog incident, because she snuck dogs in to the country and lied about it under oath. That's perjury. And in the USA now, because of Camille calling her out, okay? That is sad. That means you have a problem. 3 different places all over the world are investigating you for perjury. What I want to know is, and I know this is a civil case and they don't really prosecute perjury in a civil case like they do in a criminal case, but what I want to know is Amber Heard going to be caught, and is she going to be brought to justice on these acts of perjury? Because it is just mind-blowing the amount of perjury that she's been caught in already. And this part, I was screaming at my TV, okay? I have a lot of different points here that I caught during the trial, so it may seem kind of jumbled, but I'm basically just giving different points and talking about different lies that Amber was caught in. But this one, oh my God, it made me holler. I was howling like a wolf. Because the picture where Johnny and Amber were on their honeymoon when they were in Asia, I believe, or Russia, I can't remember, one of the two, and they were on the train. And there was a group photo taken of Johnny, Amber, and the staff on the train in the eating cart that Johnny Depp's bodyguard, I think it was Travis McGiven, I think, that took the picture. And we've seen this picture already in court. And when we first saw it, you could very visibly see that on Johnny's face, he had a pretty decent sized welt and bruise. I believe it was on the left side of his face, could have been the right. I'm trying to like see the picture and yeah, whatever. But he had a very visible injury on his face. And Amber, standing next to him, was in this very like slim black dress, and it had spaghetti straps, and her whole décolletage and neck was showing, and she had absolutely nothing, no signs of injury on her person at all. And mind you, this is the same night that Amber said that Johnny allegedly choked her out with a t-shirt. Okay, but she had absolutely no signs of that around her neck. If you're being choked by a t-shirt to the point where you're going to black out, you're going to have some sort of red mark. There's going to be some sort of trauma there, however there wasn't. Well, Camille showed this picture to Amber, this exact same picture that we've already seen. And Camille goes, there's a pretty significant injury under Johnny Depp's right or left eye, isn't there? And Amber has the audacity to say that that picture was photoshopped. This bitch want to talk about Photoshop right now? Because Amber loves Photoshop. She has photoshopped quite a few of her photos to the point where they are not even admissible in court. So when there are pictures submitted for evidence in a court case, there is an outside party that will look at and, I'm trying to think of the right word, verify the authenticity of these photos. If they're found to be non-authentic, they are going to be non-admissible in court. This picture was found to be admissible in court, so it was used in court. Okay? There are many photos of Amber's that were found to be non-admissible in court because they were tampered with. They were found to be tampered with, whether that be metadata, editing, Photoshop, whatever the case. But Amber had the audacity to say on the stand that the picture of Johnny Depp with the huge welt under his eye was photoshopped. Bitch! What? His was photoshopped? Oh, I need some ice. I need some ice for the brain swelling this bitch is causing me right now. And then Camille also brought up the wedding, and I was waiting for this part because this is the part that drove me absolutely bananas up a monkey tree because Amber was lying so heavily. Camille brought up the fact that there was, in fact, drugs at the wedding, and Amber claims that she is this good old girl who doesn't use drugs, she doesn't believe in drugs, she never does drugs, she never did drugs with Johnny Depp. Which is all a lie, because there has been several accounts of evidence of Amber doing drugs. Her at Coachella doing drugs in Australia, popping Xanny and Adderall and hallucinogenics and MDMA. So let me get this straight. Amber Heard was so scared of her drug-fueled monster husband, Johnny Depp. She was so scared of him, yet she was comfortable enough to get absolutely wasted on drugs. And the whole time Amber was just dancing around the topic that she doesn't do drugs. The entire time she would never admit to doing drugs. She did a couple of times, but for the most part she was just dancing around the topic. She wasn't afraid of him like she claims, because I can tell you right now, if I was truly afraid of somebody, I am not going to lose control by putting drugs in my system around somebody that I'm scared of, around somebody that I think is going to kill me, which that's a new thing. Amber is now claiming that Johnny was trying to kill her this entire time. Bitch, take a fucking seat. And Camille brought up the email that Amber sent to the wedding planner. And in that email, Amber sent a mock itinerary that literally said drugs. Okay, so right there, Amber was caught in another lie. Amber claims there was no drugs at the wedding when in fact there was, because Amber sent drugs in the itinerary to the wedding planner in an email that was shown to the court. And then we get into the subject about how desperately that Amber Heard tried to move on with her life, how she desperately wants to move on from this and she wants to move on with her life. When in fact that is not true, because there have been multiple instances where Amber has continued to agitate and take the first shot at Johnny Depp when it comes to this things. That doesn't really tell everyone that you want to move on with your life. Yet she could never leave him alone. She was texting him over and over. She was tweeting his old lawyer, Adam Waldman. She was tweeting about the op-ed that she wrote. She became an advocate for domestic violence victims. She even went to see Johnny Depp soon after she got the DVTRO, the Domestic Violence Temporary Restraining Order. She even went to see him while that restraining order was in effect. She claimed in this audio recording, because there was an audio recording of her going to see him while the TRO was in effect, she wanted to hug him, she wanted to see him, she wanted to touch him. Bitch, I thought you were afraid of him. If you're afraid of somebody, why are you going to see them while you have a restraining order in effect? It doesn't really sound like you wanted to move on at all. And there are also reports of Amber Heard texting Johnny Depp in 2018 on his birthday. Now, don't take this for fact. It has not been brought up in court yet. This is something I found in doing my own research on this case. But there is a text message going around out there where Amber texted Johnny Depp in 2018 on his birthday. Again, doesn't sound like you want to move on with your life now, does it? And then Camille very strategically tried to trick Amber into admitting that the op-ed was about Johnny Depp. They started talking about the op-ed. Camille would pull up certain excerpts and quotes from the op-ed, and Camille would say, "This is about Johnny Depp, isn't it?" And Amber would, say, "No, it was about what happened to me after," or "No, it's not about Johnny Depp." But then Amber slips up, because Camille pulls up this one quote and says, "This is also about Johnny Depp, isn't it?" And Amber would say, "It's not just about Johnny Depp. It's not just about Johnny Depp." Meaning that it was about Johnny Depp and other instances. Boom! Hook, line, sinker, case closed. You just admitted that the op-ed was about Johnny Depp. And the most telling lie of all is when Amber Heard went to get her DVTRO at the courthouse on May 27, 2016. She was wearing this very ill-fitting black dress. She had her hair down, not styled at all. She had no makeup on. And she showed up to court with a bruise on her cheek. When Amber was done filing for the DVTRO, she walked out of the courthouse into a sea, as she said, of cameras, paparazzi, people, media, just surrounding her, asking her questions. And you can see in the videos of this incident where Amber's walking out of the courtroom and she's not trying to hide her face from the cameras. She's not like, "Oh my God, leave me alone." She's literally doing this. The side that the bruise is on, she's literally walking like this so the cameras can see it. Like, they're asking her questions and she's just like, Like, make sure you get your pictures, make sure you get your camera shots. And Amber Heard claims that she was in shock that the sea of media showed up at the courthouse. However, she claims this was not planned, but Amber brought her friends and her publicist to the courthouse to file the DVTRO. Why on earth do you need your publicist to go with you to the courthouse? Why? It doesn't make sense. Bringing a friend? Okay, I can understand that. But bringing your publicist to do that? Nah. That don't add up. That don't make no damn sense. And it is alleged that Amber Heard did in fact alert TMZ and the media that she was going to be at the courthouse filing a DVTRO against Johnny Depp. And you know what? I most certainly think that that is exactly what Amber did. I believe personally that Amber did alert the media. And Camille called her ass right out on that. So Camille played her divorce proceeding deposition from August 13th, 2016. And they're asking Amber Heard about the courthouse incident, about how the media was alerted. And Amber starts talking, okay? She's word vomiting. Amber starts talking about how she was trying desperately to get a hold of Johnny Depp through either in person or through phone or a third party to get a hold of Johnny Depp to let her know that she was in fact filing a TRO against him, and she wanted to do this before the media found out. And as she's talking, as she's telling this, she says, I wanted him to find out from me instead of some other source like TMZ who was alerted. So she slipped up right there. Amber just admitted in her August 13th, 2016 divorce proceeding deposition that she did in fact alert TMZ about how she was going to be at the courthouse. It was absolutely mind-blowing seeing that. I literally was like, oh shit. And she knows she slipped up when she did that, because she goes, I wanted him to find out from me instead of some other source like TMZ who was alerted. And she does that. I don't want to rub my face because I have makeup on, but she literally went like this. She went to cover her mouth. I wanted him to find out from me instead of some other source like TMZ who was alerted. And starts rubbing her face. It was like, oh my God, Amber. Busted, bitch! It's just honestly another sign that Amber Heard wanted attention. She wanted something out of this. She wanted to have her name out there. She wanted everyone to know that it was her who accused Johnny Depp of domestic violence. Using all of these accusations for attention. And again, it doesn't tell anyone that you wanted to move on with your life. You wanted to keep dragging this out, didn't you? Her entire testimony during cross-examination was just devastating for her case, because Camille was coming in so hard, using all of these lies and calling her out on those lies, and just Amber Heard, it was just a train wreck. It was such a train wreck for her. Now, I don't know what the jury is thinking right now, but what I can say is if me and other people are watching this case and we're catching on to these things, I really hope that the jury is also catching on to these things. And I just hope that they're really honing in and paying attention to the things that we all are. And you can tell at the end of cross-examination that Amber Heard was getting so frustrated. She was starting to get angry because she knew, I think she knew right then and there that her case was trash. I think she knew right then and there that she had absolutely nothing. Her entire testimony and her entire case was literally just beat down right into the mud. Johnny Depp's lawyers are amazing. He hired an amazing team. And I have a feeling that Camille Vasquez is going to have a very successful career after this, because she absolutely killed it. She did a phenomenal job, and I hope she knows that she did a good job. The whole cross-examination was just a huge win for Johnny Depp, in my personal opinion. So after the cross-examination, things got better. Now we're going to move into the redirect. So after every cross-examination, there is always a redirect, and basically that means that Amber's team can come back up after the cross-examination and ask a little bit more questions and get a little more detail out of Amber in case the cross-examination wouldn't let her answer certain questions. The redirect is for her team to help her answer those questions to make a more clear point. So after Camille did her cross-examination, Elaine Cat Lady Bredehoft came back up to do the redirect. Ask some more questions, or okay, should I say ask one question? And I mean this in no offense. I respectfully say that I think Miss Bredehoff should highly consider retirement after this trial, because she's not a good lawyer. I'm sorry, she's not. She's very argumentative with the judge. She doesn't really know how to question people. She messes up quite a bit. So I just think she's getting a little too old for this, and I respectfully think that she should very much consider retirement after this, because she's losing it. She's just straight up losing it. So the first thing that Elaine does when she gets back up to do the redirect, and I found this to be very disrespectful, and I'm honestly shocked that the judge didn't say or do anything about this, but Elaine gets up there and starts mocking Johnny Depp. Because when the cross-examination started, Camille played a tape recording of Johnny Depp saying to Amber that she will never look him in the eyes again. And Elaine gets up there for the redirect and goes and starts mocking Johnny Depp. You will never look me in the eyes again. Like, mocking him. And I just thought that was so disrespectful. And you know, Johnny was giggling and smirking, but that's just his sense of humor. But I was honestly like, really, bitch? Like, don't fucking mock a domestic violence survivor. And not only that, but she continued to ask Amber questions, and all of these questions were not appropriate questions to be asked. They were all hearsay, lack of foundation, compound, and Camille even called Elaine's question unintelligible, which I'm sure stung Elaine in the ass to have someone say that she was unintelligible when asking questions. Oh my god, I was like fucking dying. Elaine was only able to get a few questions out because Camille was coming in at her, just objection after objection after objection. It was insane. Like, Elaine would say da 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 da, objection, hearsay, objection, compound, objection, lack of foundation, and the judge was sustaining almost every single one of those. Therefore, Elaine could not ask any of her questions. And every time that Camille would make an objection and the judge would sustain it, Elaine would argue with the judge, just straight up arguing with her, and you could just feel the tension in that room. Camille was getting annoyed, Johnny Depp's team was getting annoyed, the judge was getting very frustrated with Elaine. She was, you know, it was just ridiculous. And then Elaine would try to rephrase her questions by saying, what if anything? And that doesn't count. And the judge literally said, the objection is sustained. What if anything is not a cure-all? You can't ask that. And I was like, oh my god, this judge, I want to hug her so much right now, because she was calling Elaine out on all of her bullshit. Like, you could honestly cut the tension in that room with a knife. It was so intense. And Amber, like, she was just getting more and more angry by the second. She was trying to hide it, but deep down we just all know she was getting real angry. After all of these objections were said by Camille, Elaine was really running out of steam here, to the point where she literally stood there, leaned up against the podium, let out a huge sigh, and said, I'm trying. She was struggling so bad with the redirect. It was honestly sad. And after a few more objections, Elaine gave up. She literally gave up on her redirect with Amber Heard. She literally was like, I have no more questions, Your Honor. I think we're done here. And walked back to the table. She literally gave up on her own client. Didn't even try to continue. She just fucking left. After the redirect was done, the judge told Amber Heard that she could get off the stand and go sit next to her attorneys. She told her that twice. And they were going to be going on either lunch or their afternoon break, something like that. And yeah, the judge said, ma'am, you can step down and go have a seat next to your attorneys. Amber gets up, the judge tells her again, you can go have a seat next to your attorneys, that's fine. However, Amber did not do that. She did not go and sit next to her attorneys. You know what she did? She stomped off the stand, she stomped out of the courtroom and left the fucking courtroom. She did not look at her attorneys. She did not go and sit next to her attorneys. That bitch left the entire courtroom. She left before the judge dismissed them. She left before the jury left. And she did this in front of everybody. Everybody saw. And she was angry. Amber was so angry to the point where she didn't even want to sit or look at her own attorneys. She just left the courtroom. It was by far the craziest day in court thus far. I have never seen anything like that before. It was so disrespectful and rude for her to do that. The judge gives you instructions and you just decide to stomp out like a 5-year-old having a temper tantrum. Not good court etiquette, and the jury saw this because she walked out in front of the jury and the judge. And I really hope that the jury took note of that little incident, because that was just painful to watch, and it was just so rude. Just like a very, very bad look for her. Like, my jaw was on the floor the entire time watching this part. It was like watching a train wreck. You really want to look away because it's devastating, but at the same time you're like, oh my god, what am I looking at? That was that day in court. Once Amber Heard was officially done on the stand, it was time for the rest of Amber Heard's witnesses to come on and give their testimony. Now, 95% of Amber Heard's witnesses are all by video deposition, and I find those to be so incredibly boring. Even though I do understand and I know that video depositions can give really good information, I just find them to be very boring. And another thing I noticed is that most of the depositions were done in 2019. So a lot of the questions weren't even directed at the ongoing trial that we're having right now. So a lot of them I did find to be very, very pointless. And it's just, why couldn't any of Amber Heard's witnesses be there in person for her? Johnny Depp had quite a few witnesses in person for him giving their testimony, and that is great, but not Amber Heard. Nobody wanted to be there in person for her. So we had a few of Amber's friends testified, Io Tillett-Wright and Raquel Pennington, and her sister also testified. Her sister was there in person and testified in person as well, and they all had very contradicting stories about what had happened. None of them matched up, especially when Amber's sister took the stand. I think this is also another witness where they thought it was going to make their case, when in reality it actually broke their case, because they were talking about the stairwell incident where Johnny Depp allegedly hit Amber Heard's sister. But there are many contradicting stories about the staircase incident where Amber was facing back towards the stairs and Johnny was coming up the stairs, and then all of a sudden Whitney, Amber's sister, was in between Johnny and Amber. It doesn't make sense. There are so many different versions of this story between what Amber gave in 2016, what Amber said in this trial, and then what Whitney said. And none of it makes sense. And Whitney's old boss, Jennifer Howell, I believe her name is, she also has a story that contradicts what Whitney and Amber said on the stand. So that witness is a mess, and I do believe that they are going to be calling Jennifer Howell onto the stand for Johnny Depp's side to contradict what Whitney said. So that's going to be very interesting. Another thing that I found interesting is that all of her friends that testified for Amber are actually no longer friends with Amber. You know, they would say, you know, ex-friend or, you know, used to be friends. Amber and Io and Rocky, they're no longer friends, which I found to be very interesting. Amber can't seem to keep friendships, and that's another thing that Dr. Curry touched on in her psychological evaluation. She talked about how people with borderline personality disorder struggle to keep friendships. They struggle to keep people close to them. And another thing that I found interesting is all of Amber's ex-friends also testified, and all of Amber's witnesses thus far have testified that they have never seen Johnny Depp be violent towards Amber Heard. They've never seen Johnny Depp hit Amber Heard. They've never seen Johnny Depp do anything physically violent towards anyone or Amber Heard. However, Rocky testified, Amber's ex-best friend, testified that Amber punched Rocky in the face. So Johnny wasn't violent, but Amber was. Interesting. I was like, oh, caught another one. And to me, that is just very telling of Amber's character, because Johnny Depp has had friends for decades upon decades come and testify for him, and Amber has ex-friends testifying for her, and they're being very honest. They're saying, no, Johnny Depp never hit her. I never saw Johnny Depp hit her. It's just, the character differences between the two is mind-boggling. Like, Amber, she's not a good person, whereas Johnny Depp, I believe, is a good person. Is he perfect? No. Is he a saint? No. But his character is looking a lot more golden than Amber Heard's. And another thing that a lot of Amber's witnesses did is they really dug down deep into Johnny's alcohol and drug abuse, saying that the drugs and the alcohol are what make him abusive. However, and you know, they're trying to paint him as this bad guy because he did drugs and drank alcohol. Like, they're making him out to be this monster because he did these things. However, all of these people also did drugs. And not only that, some of them also did drugs with Johnny Depp. So let me get this straight. It's totally okay for them to do drugs, but it's not okay for Johnny Depp to do it. Like, it's only a problem when Johnny Depp does drugs. Like, it makes no sense. Like, you have no argument there. So the trial continues tomorrow, May 23rd. I am currently filming this on May 22nd right now. It is a Sunday. The trial resumes tomorrow, and it's going to be a very interesting week. This is the last full week of trial. We are going to have closing arguments on the 27th of May, which is going to be very interesting. This week is going to be good. I feel like we're going to hear a lot of contradicting testimony and evidence from Johnny Depp's team. Johnny Depp's team is going to bring a few more people back up on the stand for recall testimony. So it's going to be a good week. I have a feeling it's going to be a good week. One other thing I wanted to mention about one of Amber Heard's witnesses is Amber Heard had her acting coach, Miss Sexton, testify for Amber Heard. And she said something, and I want to know if you guys caught this. She said something in her testimony about Amber Heard's acting. She said that when Amber Heard is acting, she has a very hard time developing tears. Okay? If you remember my Amber Heard video, I talked about how when Amber was crying and bawling on the stand, there was evidence of absolutely no tears coming from that woman's eyes. And then her acting coach testified saying that when Amber Heard is acting, she can't develop real tears. I was like, bitch, we know, and you just confirmed it, so fucking thank you. So I am going to be finishing out this week watching the rest of the trial. I am going to be watching Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are going to be the closing arguments, which I'm very excited for. And to be perfectly honest with you, sitting here today, I truly don't know what the verdict is going to be on this case. I can't say one way or another. This is not a domestic violence case. This is a defamation civil case, and defamation is one of the hardest things to prove in a case like this. Defamation cases almost never go the way that you want them to because it's just a very hard thing to prove. So sitting here, I don't know what the verdict is going to be. I don't know what the jury is taking notes on. I don't know what the jury is thinking right now. The justice system and the jury system has failed many times in the past, giving not guilty verdicts to people who are very clearly guilty and vice versa. So I truly don't know what's going to happen. I really do want justice for Johnny Depp in the justice system, but even if he doesn't get that, Johnny got justice in the public's popular opinion. The public, we the people, know Johnny Depp is innocent. We know he's not an angel, but we know he is innocent of what he is being accused of. So regardless of the outcome of this case, Johnny Depp is innocent and he got his justice in the rest of the world. I just hope that the jury and the court in this particular case will give him that justice he deserves and will find Amber Heard guilty of defamation. I really, truly do want that. I just, sitting here right now, I don't know what the verdict is going to be. Now, I did hear that once the verdict is given, I heard and saw something online that the judge said that it is not required for Amber or Johnny to be present when the verdict is read. I personally will be very disappointed if Amber and Johnny are not present during the time that the verdict is read. If they've sat through about 6 weeks of trial, and if they didn't show up for the verdict reading, that would honestly kind of disappoint me. So I really hope that Johnny Depp does show up for the verdict. It wouldn't surprise me if Amber didn't show up. Like, that bitch is just, she's fucking psycho, okay? Like, if she didn't show up, that wouldn't shock me at all, but I really, really hope that Johnny shows up for the verdict. Well, that was my full video on the cross-examination, the redirect, and some of Amber Heard's witnesses in the last week of trial. If you want me to continue doing trial videos up until the end, please let me know. If you want me to do a reaction to the verdict, please let me know. And I want to know, what did you think of Amber Heard's testimony during cross-examination? Do you think Amber Heard was able to save herself, or do you think Amber Heard buried herself? Please let me know down below. Please also let me know what you thought of Camille Vasquez. Do you think she did a good job? Do you think she killed it during your cross-examination? Personally, I do. Most of the world also thinks she did a good job, but I want to know your guys' opinions. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was another long one. If you guys did enjoy this video and you are in fact #Justice for Johnny Depp, please go down and give this video a huge thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. If you are new to my channel and this is the first video of mine that you are seeing, please go down and hit that red subscribe button. I do upload every 3, 4, sometimes 5 days here. I love you guys so, so much. Let's have a good week. Let's finish out this week with testimony. I am so ready. I'm so excited. I got my notepad ready. Let's fucking do this. I'm gonna get going and I'm gonna prepare for tomorrow's court date, and I will see you guys again very, very soon in my next video. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today.